Hello, welcome to the latest Cool Rekz in conversation with video. It's been a while since we've done one because we've been concentrating on practicing for our up and coming tour. This one will be up and they'll be followed hot on the heels by another one. So this one today is me and David are going to be discussing our top 5 albums. This is completely genuine. We've not conferred with each other. We're going to have a little game at the start, try and guess each other's, and then it will be revealed as we go through if we got it right or not. Okay. Do you want to try and guess mine first?
I'll try and guess yours, Ant. Now, I think your favourite album, and you want me just to guess 5, or can I guess more than 5?
Go
Here's
for
what
it.
I think.
Yeah.
Okay, number 1, Achtung Baby U2.
Okay.
Number 2, The Hurting, Tears for Fears. Number 3, Kings of the Wild Frontier, Adamant. Number 4, Black Sea, XTC. Number 5, another XTC album, Skylarking. Number 6, St. Julian, Julian Cope. Number 7, Boy, U2. And lastly, number 8, Soul Mining, The.
Wow, that's
Okay.
interesting. That is very interesting. I've gone backwards and forwards on this. I'm really,
As one always does, because it
I'm
always
really,
changes, doesn't it, whenever you think
really,
of this sort of thing.
really struggling. I'm going to use the fact that you said, can I have more than one album from the same artist? And I said, yeah, of course you can. Your 5's your 5.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be 2 artists.
Okay.
So I think we reached a consensus that you thought Acton Baby was U2's best album. I might be wrong on that. And I know you're a bit fluid in your opinions of best this and best that.
Especially other people's bestest, yeah.
So I'm going to go for that, but I think there's a curveball in there because I know you really like U2's Unforgettable Fire. So I'm throwing that one in there as well. I was torn between 3 Manics albums. I appreciate them a lot more now and I need to hear some more of their stuff.
Top band.
But I think it's going to be one of 3. And I've forgotten, so you're going to have to help me
All right,
here now.
don't worry, no.
I think it was the first album that's got I know you really like Motorcycle. What's it called?
Emptiness.
Emptiness. What album was that?
Generation Terrorist.
Generation Terrorist. I think it's either that or This Is My Truth, Tell Me Yours,
Yeah, that's one.
or Holy Bible.
Holy Bible, yeah.
So
yeah.
I think it's one of those 3.
Okay.
I am really, really struggling after that. And I'm going to throw 2, which aren't right, but I'm going to guess. I know you like the Smiths, so I'm going to go for The Queen Is Dead. And I know you like The Cure. I don't know the name of their albums, but I'm going to go for the one that had Inner Forest and Love Cats on, if they were both on the same album.
No, they're off different albums.
Oh, right, okay. The
Inner
one with...
Forest is Pornography. I think Love Cats is Head on the Door. I might be
Well, I'm
wrong
going to go
on
for Pornography then,
Might be
because
wrong
you
on
weren't
that.
too sure about
Yeah,
Head on the
no.
Door. Let me try and think of at least one more. God, it's really pathetic. I'm going to go for this, but I know it's not right. Exile on Main Street.
Stones.
Exile on what?
Exile
Main Street.
Exile on Main Street.
Yeah.
Stones. Okay.
I'm really pathetic.
No, don't worry. No.
So, right, do you want to go first
Yeah,
then?
shall I go first?
Number
then?
5?
Number 5.
Number 5.
So I'll just go through them. I'll go through my 5. And these are not in a order of like number 1.
Well,
they're just
mine are.
5 albums, okay?
Go on then.
Right,
Mine definitely.
first one.
Yeah.
We'll go for this.
Oh.
Great album. Matt Johnson, what a genius. And ironically, one of the artists you mentioned did a great cover of a track on here a few years ago. This is the day the Manics covered this.
Did they?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
It was about 10 years ago. They
See,
did the greatest hits.
where I
compilation.
think we differ is, I don't like a lot of bands perceived best album, best songs. In fact, some of my favourite bands, their iconic tracks, I can't stand the songs, or I really don't like the songs.
I can give you an example.
Soul
of that.
Mining, most people would say that they think that's his best album.
The one after was good.
But so what is it? What is it about it?
Just all the songs. For me, an album, I'm not always bothered about a concept. It's just how many great songs.
He never overloaded with tracks on his albums, did he?
No.
8 was about as good as it
well,
got,
but it was
weren't it?
quality over quantity.
Yeah.
And how good album is, I want to listen to all the tracks. a great album doesn't have just one or two great tracks on it. So I listen to it all the way through, and you're not skipping tracks. That's as simple as it
That's
gets.
exactly what
Simple
I
as it
was
gets
going to
to
say.
me.
You took the words out of my mouth. These albums are ones where you put it in and you're
Yeah.
not too bothered about skipping tracks.
No.
You want to hear them all.
You wanna hear the whole
Sometimes
album.
there's one that's
Yeah,
not,
yeah.
but you're happy for it to go all the way through, and the album just goes through so quick.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
think,
And this
"Fucking hell,
one,
I've had it already.
our friend Mr. Tyler got us onto this artist back in the day.
He did actually.
He was talking
was a
about
lot
these
more,
at school before I'd never.
Oh,
anyone
yeah,
had
he
heard
was
of
a lot more musically aware than
He was,
certainly I was.
he was.
I was a musical unit.
And I only mentioned the. And
It's
I
funny
thought-
how things change.
Yeah, yeah. But he mentioned the. And I heard him say, who the fuck are that? Excuse my language, who are they? That's a weird name for a band. And I didn't check them out for a while. And when I heard it, I thought, what a talented man. You know, genius. Guy's a genius, and there's many people that will say that of our vintage. So that top album, that get it, listen to it. Right, next album. Do you want to go on with it?
Yeah,
No?
yeah, yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
do you want me to ask yours?
Right,
Or do
so
you want to
here's
carry-
my fifth.
Oh, we do it
now-
alternately.
right,
Okay.
now, you gave quite a list there, didn't you?
Yes.
And okay, so let me do the honourable. No, I'll leave the honourable mention out because
Okay.
I changed it at the last minute
Okay.
and substituted it. I'll tell you which one I substituted it for. But number 5 is Kings of the Wild Frontier. So
Well, hey, top
if you remember the
artist.
old Mastermind game, that's a white peg, right album
yeah.
and right position. This is just an amazing album. I've always called Adamant the Winston Churchill of music. That sounds a bit of a strange comparison, but Winston Churchill came along. He was the right person at the right time, and he was probably the only person that could have achieved what he achieved at the time. Nobody else in Britain in 1940 that could have done what he did. And I think Adamant's the same here. Punk had shot its bolt 79, 80.
Yeah.
You know, the Pistols have been and gone. There were a lot of bands that weren't really punks, but like the Stranglers that were going along for the ride. They
come
said
from
we
the
weren't
pub
going to
rock
hand it
scene,
back.
weren't they?
They never consider themselves punks.
No, they
Even
didn't.
now,
They're
they
the
get
London-
wound up when people
They're
say
out the
that.
London pub rock scene
Yeah.
more than anything. They're older, weren't they?
Yeah, and he had his band took off him by Michael McLaren, and he came up with a whole new tone. He's the original New Romantic, as far as I'm
He
concerned.
inspired a lot of that. Yeah.
And he's another one of these artists that melded pop and rock. I'd say it's probably 70% pop, 30% rock.
Yeah.
But Marco Peroni's guitar was just so amazing. I just thought it was just brilliant. Modern sounding, I thought. The songs were just very catchy.
But I think he has a bit of a 50s rockabilly vibe about him.
He does.
His playing.
But it was a whole
got that
image.
echo
I just
guitar.
love the late 18th century dandy Harlem and look 1750s onwards, and then he mixed that with a Red Indian vibe. He looked as cool as shit. on
And
this.
can I add a footnote? We saw him about 3 or 4 years ago.
I know, and he was
And
bouncing about like he was
exactly.
19.
I thought, as you just said the words, I thought he was he could take the piss out of 18, 20-year-old artists.
He's coming back in
people-
November. We should
Yeah,
get
you wouldn't
tickets.
think
We
he
should
was
get
like-
tickets.
It was like watching somebody.
Might force you on screen to agree. We've got to get
25.
tickets
we
for him
will.
again.
Yeah, I'd like to see him again.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, top
So
artist.
again, this is another one of those. Put it on. Every single track is amazing. And the thing is with Adamant, a lot of people didn't see past the outfit,
yeah, the image.
the whooping and the
yeah,
wallowing. He
yeah.
actually had some very profound things to say.
Yeah.
And certainly on this one, I mean, Killer in the Home is depression.
Yeah.
They
Oh,
didn't know he
that's
had depression then. That's definitely, you know. And again, Mr. T, he really appreciates Adamant now.
Yeah.
But you had Dog Eat Dog was about the world we were living in. Again,
Yeah.
people never understood that. Making History, he was talking about, you know, history is always about the good guys against the bad
Yeah.
guys. This is an amazing album. Released in 1980, absolutely fantastic. Big influence for me. So that's my number 5.
Right.
And you're
Another one.
right already.
Yes. You didn't guess this one.
I don't
This
think
is-
I guessed
this
any
is-
of them, did I? Let's
This
be
is a
honest.
funny choice. You might think it's an odd choice, but
Well,
this one, the Wonderstick,
Yeah.
Hook.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah.
I picked this one because when I first picked up a guitar when I was 17, I bought this horrible Spanish thing, not as in a good Spanish guitar, and I was struggling and no good. And then I heard this band, Mr. Boot, I think, put us onto this band. And
Mr. Boot.
Mr. Boot, and I saw them at Reading, and I thought these at the time of the DBs, they were fantastic. It was pop punk, as you perhaps call it. Maybe
Well, I'd say it was
fast
pop.
moving. It
I'd
inspired what
say
it
it
did.
was pop.
It made me go out and get an electric guitar.
Some of
and
their
proper
songs
plan.
were quite provocative, weren't they?
Yeah,
I like
but
them,
they're really
there's
well
no way
written.
I'd call them punk.
No, oh no, not punk. No, they're not a punk. They were never a punk band. No, they're a pop band. A
And when did
guitar
they come out?
pop
Were they
band.
like Britpop or were they a bit earlier
No,
than Britpop?
late 80s, 88 they're started.
So that's about Britpop time.
No,
isn't it?
Britpop's, you got to
Well,
remember,
early
Britpop's mid 90s.
Well,
These had split up before Britpop really took off. They split up in '93, but they're still,
Okay.
but they're back going now. But this album, they're all nice, relatively short songs.
there's some very good songs on there, aren't there?
Yeah.
I
It's
thought
Your
the
Money,
album after that didn't.
Hup. Yeah, it's all right, but not
Not that though.
This has got loads
My
of great songs.
ex-wife actually played that to me. She
Great
one
album.
of her first presents to me
Great
was a
album.
mixtape of that.
Oh.
She was into them, and
Ironically, I
I
can
think it was
only,
her
I
that
can
got
only
me into them. Actually,
basically play one
I know
song.
Boots he was on about.
Oh,
That's
I
right.
thought these were great. These were great. So, yeah, that's for me. That's not. I won't say when I say top five. I can't say this is one. This is five. They're just 5 albums I really go back to. So that's it. Yeah, great guitar pop that made me go and pick up an electric guitar. God help the world. But that's,
Cool, excellent.
That's my number 2.
Okay, number 4 for me is, and this is the one that replaced the one that I originally picked, which was a bit of a curveball, which is going to be my honourable mention. Number 4,
Oh,
Thither Infected.
The album after this. Which
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember. That.
which is a bit of it's a reissue, isn't it? It's not the
Yeah.
original album cover. Let's just see
No,
if it's
the-
that's
yeah,
the original album
yeah, which
cover.
I've got.
And that's what I say about most a lot of bands I like. I don't necessarily agree with what the perceived best album is.
No.
I like Soulmite's a great album, but it's not a patch on Infected.
No.
Again, when was this released? Early
86,
80s?
86.
86 was it?
86,
Right,
yeah.
okay.
Soul Mining was 83.
Yeah.
And that's 86.
Again, I think it is pop rock, but it's just unique.
Yeah.
And Matt Johnson
Very
was doing a lot of work with. That's very. I mean, he wrote that. He played all the instruments on that. It was basically just a keyboard, wasn't it?
Yeah.
On Infected, he went completely the other way. He had about 60 musicians on it.
Right.
It was really.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, the guitar work in it's amazing, and he's got James Ayler on bass, who appears on another album, which I might be talking about, and he had the Smiths guy as well. Didn't
Mike Joyce, the drummer out of the Smiths drum.
Yeah.
After the Smiths.
Didn't Johnny
finished
Marr
it,
do something with him
he
as well?
might have done.
I think
can't
he
remember
did,
now.
but-
Maybe later on. Maybe not that album, but maybe
This
on the
album is a snapshot of the 80s. And
Yeah.
what I admire so much about Matt Johnson is his lyrics sound to me that have come from someone who's our age, very experienced, especially with Soul Mine. But again, he's got it.
I think he's
He's got it to a T. Infected was about AIDS. Out of the Blue Into the Fire was about prostitution. Heartland was about the state of Britain at the time. Angel of Deception was a critique of America. Sweet Bird of Truth was about
I don't know.
war
why.
in foreign lands. Slow Train to Dawn was a straightforward relationship problem song. Twilight of a Champion was about someone who was, well, both from Twilight of a Champion and the Mercy Beat, inner struggles. I just think it's a profound.
He's an artist, one of them artists, and there's a lot of them sadly. I can never understand why the F he hasn't become an household now.
Yeah.
Why on earth is he not up there?
I think it's because wasn't particularly prolific live. Didn't tour an awful lot.
No.
Okay live, but not
But so many people
blow your pants off live. And he was slow to release albums.
Yeah, but so many people name check him,
And,
don't they?
well,
Proper artists.
Well,
name
that's
check.
it. There's so many artists that aren't famous
Like-
themselves that are the inspiration
Yeah,
for a lot of other bands.
Yeah.
But he just wasn't sexy enough. He was the
No.
Leicestershire cricket of music. He just wasn't.
Yeah.
I don't think his record. I mean, he was signed to Ireland for a while, wasn't he? I think. I mean, was this released on
I
Ireland?
can't remember. What was this one?
I don't know.
Not sure what this was. Epic. This
Epic.
is Soul Mine was Epic.
But just an amazing, amazing album from an amazing artist, and we've both picked an album there. But for me, this is his best. So that's my number four.
Okay. Well, here we go. This is my
Your third one?
Third, is it? I'll go for this one, and this was a okay. Unforgettable Fire, U2.
Oh, I got it. I got it. I knew it. Well, I do listen to you now.
It's not their most coveted albums by a long way, but I think for me it was the album that got me really into this band. It was different. And
It was more polished and mellow than War.
Yeah.
And War was the last Steve Lillywhite album, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That was Brian Eno, wasn't it?
Yeah, Brian Eno.
And he brought a more ambient sound.
That's what I'd not really heard a lot of it. Bear in mind at the age I was at, I'd not really heard their early stuff because when this came out, there was still the happening band. They were still a bit not obscure, but weren't as big as obviously they are nowadays and became later on.
But to an extent, Pride from that album broke
through. And I'd not really heard. I didn't really listen to War in the previous October and Boy till I got listened to this, and I liked them, but I'd not heard them. And this was kind of the first thing, and I thought this is like it just sounded like at the time nothing else being made. You know, you got that in that era, the early '80s. It was all synth music, synth pop, which was good in itself, but I got a bit bored of it, and guitar music was out of
possibly
fashion.
my first or second favourite U2 tracks on that album.
Oh, go on then. I guess I reckon Wire.
Correct.
Yeah, it's a great song.
Oh my God, that is just the guitar on that is just
not an easy one to play, but that I think is a.
And I've got two pedals on my pedal board, which I call my edge pedals.
Oh,
the reverb and the delay.
Yeah,
it's just U2 all over.
Yeah, oh yeah.
The way he uses it, just amazing, and that Wire, just an amazing.
It's an under talked about album now, and obviously
it is, and it's not considered anywhere near that.
I think it's really no, but I think it's really good.
I knew you always liked it.
I did, yeah,
and I like it.
I like most of the other ones. Have
of
done
course,
some
well, both do, but that is
now,
a great album.
For me, that's
really.
If I had to pick one album to only listen to again from U2, it would still have to be this one.
Right. Well, at least I got one right.
Yeah. So. Right, next album from you, sir.
Right, so we're into the top three now. Okay, number 3.
Oh yes, I guess that one right.
Baby.
Same band, by coincidence.
Done it again, yeah. For me, it's their best album. Most people say it's Joshua Tree. No, it's a good album, but
yeah. But what album did they? When they finally did Glastonbury a few years in 2011, when they played basically that album.
Yeah.
And that's because
they played,
that's the album I think a lot of younger fans.
First 5 tracks were all.
Yeah, I think that's the album that Joshua Tree's seen as.
Well, Joshua Tree was a zenith for them.
Yeah.
And then they released Rattle and Hum, which I like.
Yeah.
It was a bit too bluesy in some places, but it got panned, didn't it, by the critics, and it was their worst selling album.
Yeah.
And they said they had to go away and dream it up again. And I think they had the foresight. The Cold War was thawing. They knew something was happening in Europe. They went to Germany with Brian Eno. Hansa Studios, which isn't there anymore, sadly. Inside the Berlin Wall. I mean, Eno knew that place. I mean, he did Bowie's Berlin albums, 3 albums there. Iggy Pop recorded there at the same time. Lou Reed did Transformer.
Obviously, I think.
Who produced Transformer?
Yeah.
It was Bowie. I thought it was Brian Eno, but it wasn't. It was Bowie. That was very talented for a young man. That's a good album. That's got Vicious on it. There's Walk on the Wild Side on that album as well.
Yes, it is. Yeah. That was nearly an album I was going to pick.
I don't know it well enough.
No, I got it, but I didn't quite. Yeah, I was going to pick that.
I mean, again, and they they modernise their sound, and again, it's an album I can play all the way through. One's a lot of people's favourite song. It's okay.
Noel Gallagher's favourite song.
Yeah, if I'm going to skip one, it's that one normally. Yeah. But I just love. I mean, Zoo Station's one of my favourite bass lines of all time. Very simple, but it's brilliant. Love Even Better Than the Real Thing. Love End of the World. Love So Cruel. Love The Fly. Love Mysterious Ways. All to me, this is their peak,
Yeah.
their best album
Sometimes I say
by
that,
a
don't you?
long,
When
long
bands
margin.
are in the brown smelly stuff as they were, they nearly broke up, didn't they? At that point, they were struggling. They met their best stuff. Manics did that with one of their. They come out with a great album when they nearly called it
I
a day.
just think
But
this is.
with
And
everything
they'd have
else
been
going.
what? When was this? 1991. They were born about 58, 59, 69, 70, 80. The early 30s when they wrote
must
this.
have been, late 2030s.
You know, and it just shows you, 91, they'd been going for, what, just over 10 years. So, you know, puts into perspective what we're doing after 2 years.
Yeah.
When really the first year, we didn't write any songs. It's only been like the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Excellent album.
Yeah.
That's my number 3.
Well, my next one, I'm going to go for this band. It's probably one of my favourite bands, but perhaps not the album people would expect to this band, and that's this, Combat Rock, The Clash.
Oh my God, yeah. I forgot that album.
Their last album probably as a proper band. They did one afterwards when they'd signed a split with some other members came in, but it's got the hits on it, but it's got some other great songs on it. Straight to Hell.
What songs are on that then?
Well, I'll read the track list.
Yeah.
It's Know Your Rights, Car Jamming, Shoulda Stay, Shoulda Go, which, do we know that one? Rock the Casbah, Red Angel Dragnet, Straight to Hell, which I think is fantastic, Overpowered by Funk, Afton Tan, Sean Flynn, Ghetto Defendant, Inoculated City, and Death is a Star.
I'm going to have to listen to that.
Have a listen. Yeah, it's
I'm
a
going to have to listen to
great
that.
album. It's got their party tunes, as you call it, on it.
Isn't Combat Rock considered their best?
I think they're.
What you said, Rock the Casbah's on there.
Yeah. It's there's a Sandinistas.
What is it? 82, 83?
82. Just for the split up, and they split up in 83, and they did an album called Cut the Crap in 85, but 2 members had left. It was half the Clash, and there's a great track on that album called This Is England. You ever listen to that? It's a great track. You can't remember it.
Cut the Crap.
Cut the Crap, yeah. But no, they say London Calling is one of the best albums, but it's arguable. It's just the one I always like. Yeah, it's got their well-known pop tunes on it, but it's an album where you can listen to all the tracks. I love the Clash. I think they're probably my top 2 or 3 bands. But this is just the one I really like. I think it's got all the songs most songs you can listen. There are their other albums, as you know, but there's great songs on every Clash album, as you can imagine. But this one seems the most complete. It's got the most songs on I like. So great album, great band,
cool.
best image.
Did you guess Infected of mine?
I did, yes.
Right, so you've got all 3 of them.
No, I guessed Soul Mining.
Oh, right. So that's a black peg. Right artist,
I got
wrong
right artist
album.
wrong. Yeah.
So you've got 2 out of 3 so far.
Yeah. So
right, okay, my number 2 album is. Do you want to have a guess?
What have I guessed so? Was it? Going to guess the artist? Is it XTC?
No.
Not U2.
No.
Tears for Fears.
No. I did consider that album, and a younger me would have picked it.
I don't know then.
You did pick it.
Oh, Julian Cope.
Yeah, you did pick it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
This was for a long time my all-time
Great
favourite album.
Yeah.
This is an amazing, amazing album. Again, most of his fans don't like this. They prefer his later stuff, which Julian Cope went on a ever descending.
You can tell he's played it a lot, looking at the state of the case. That's a sign of a great album.
Ever descending.
It's how knackered the case is, how much it's been taken in, and if it's got a knackered, screwed up case, dirty, it's a great album.
He went on a never-ending scale into weirdness, and I liked his stuff. And he, to a large extent, distanced himself from this, although he does admit it had its moments.
It's a great album.
This is an amazing album. I tell you what,
Brilliant songs on
it was Look At. I mean, I'd heard of the Teardrop Explosion, who hadn't heard of Reward.
Yeah.
But when you say Julian Cope, they only recognise him from either Reward or World Shut Your Mouth.
Yeah.
But I first heard this for some bizarre reason. I had Radio 1 on one night, and I never really listened to the radio. And they were interviewing him. He just released this album, and the first track they played was Ease Volcano, which is easily one of my top 5 tracks of all time. I just heard this. keyboard carousel sounding. It was just amazing. I love the double entendres in the song. I think he's a very clever lyricist. So, some of it goes a bit over my head, makes me think I'm not intellectual enough, but I think he's very clever. But again, this is just, and again, you know, I think he was one of the forerunners of Britpop with this.
Yeah.
Again, this is pop stroke rock. There's just enough rock in there to give it just that brilliant blend. A lot of people call this a poppy album, so I suppose it is. But you see, my idea of pop is Steps, the Spice Girls, the Bay City Rollers, the cheesy stuff.
Different definitions.
Pure pop.
Some people
to me, is cheesy.
Other people can define pop as catchy and memorable. How can you sing? How can you hum it?
But
you know,
pop rock,
how's it stick in your head?
pop rock artists such as Julian Cope, Echo and the Bunnymen, the Smiths. That's what I would class as proper pop rock.
Yeah.
And I think
it's
I think he sits in there brilliantly. This is just an amazing album. He's like one of my favourite. It's his best-selling album as a solo artist. Do you know where this got to in the charts?
it's probably in the top 10, isn't it? I think he did.
Number 11.
11.
I think that's
But again,
criminal.
why is he not more?
Well, he'd
of a
been
name
dropped
for the
by his label. Mercury
album?
signed him
He's on
as a
Island,
solo
isn't he?
artist,
Yeah, he's on
and he
Island.
released Wild Trick Your Mouth album, which was very poppy. It was a a little bit dour, but a little bit. I think it was his attempt at trying to be popular, and then his next album was Fried, which was ultra weird. I mean, this was Wild Trick Your Mouth was acoustically based, but it was a bit more up. There was more instrumentation in it. And Fried was almost literally just an organ, an old style organ, and an acoustic guitar.
We should try that.
And it was weird. I mean, there's some good track. I mean, the Bloody Assizes on Fry's excellent, but they didn't sell very well.
No.
And he got a cult following. Cult following is another word for not too many people, but they're really, really ardent fans. But they dropped him. But our Ireland at the time were beginning to emerge, and they got a lot of reggae acts, a lot of American has-been band acts. I think they signed Lou Reed and Iggy Pop.
Well, Ireland,
they were good
Ireland
calls, but they
always
signed him.
off the cuff, sort of. Out
They
left field
signed
acts,
him,
didn't they?
and this went to number 11. It's just an amazing
It is a
album.
good album.
Screaming Secrets is amazing. Space Opera, which we
We've
did
done.
some cover.
Yeah.
It's just an amazing, amazing album. I love this album to death, and every now and again I remember it and I play it, and
Put
I
it
love
on,
it just
yeah.
as much then. And again, he's got James Eller on bass, and I've
Good
always
guitarist as
liked
well.
Donald Ross Skinner as a
Yeah.
guitarist.
Did you ever see him live?
Yes,
Yeah.
I saw him at Leicester University
That Dave played City
on
played,
his
wasn't it?
My Nation Underground tour, which was the
the
album
one after.
straight after
Oh,
this.
yeah, it would have been,
Um,
that's right. I don't think I saw him on that tour. No, it was after
It
that.
was it was
Yeah.
excellent. It's a good album.
Yeah.
And it was very good live. Just love it, love it.
Put it on later.
Dot my calf to Mr.
Put it
Coe.
on later.
Might well do that.
Right, you
That's
guessed
my
this.
number 2. So you got
guessed
that
my
right.
next one, yeah.
Oh, so I got number 2, did I?
Oh, you got this one right. Well, you sort of did, and that's Generation Terrace, Manic Street Preachers.
Right. Is that the one with If You
First one.
Tolerate?
No, this is
That's the one with Motorcycle.
Motorcycle Emphasis, Your Lovers,
Yeah.
Slash and Burn, Nat West Barkley.
I knew the
Noise.
Manics would be in there. I knew
It-
you'd have one.
I probably bought this album the day after I'd actually heard them for the first time. I heard this up and coming band, and I actually went to see them.
Impulsive, David.
I
For
bought
you,
it with
that.
Steve.
Ooh.
Many
wow.
years ago, about 92, saw them at the uni, went up there, they did a rearranged gig, they had to cancel their gig,
You got the hammer first to
crack open the safe.
with the thingy, whatever you call it, to get open.
Yeah,
it,
well, I saw they're on top of the Pops at the same night.
albums were investments then.
Yeah.
Now
No, but it was and I saw this band on top of the Pops actually, and I thought, well, this is great. And funny enough, I'm sure it was that same night they were playing the uni, because obviously they'd recorded top of the Pops, and it might have been the night after, but anyway, I saw these, and it was a really brilliant gig. It was like really a band trying to say something, trying to be something, really putting the effort in. I went out and got the album next day, and it didn't come off the CD player for days. It was like punk had come back again, you know. And I know
I'm starting to
they
appreciate
said
them
a
now.
few
I was
silly
very
things.
critical of them without
they said a
really
few
having
silly
heard
things
enough
at
to,
the time,
to be fair.
and they've mellowed now.
make that
But
fair.
I thought this had so much energy in it.
Yeah, their last album was still went to number one.
Yeah,
Was it a year ago?
yeah.
You find that a lot of these old artists. I mean, you see now single sales. That's for the young, but these
Yeah.
they still get to number one. I mean, Paul Heaton and Jackie Ablett, their album went to number one.
Quickly, and then
Yeah.
because our generation, people still buy CDs. The fans
Yes.
still buy CDs. The younger, it's all streaming.
Yeah.
And well, downloads have gone out of fashion now. So, but the youngers don't buy albums. They just don't. Do they?
Well, downloads have gone out of fashion because you subscribe to a music channel and listen to whatever you want for $7.99 a month.
Yeah.
So why are you going to pay £1 for an individual track
That's
when you
it.
can pay it for nothing?
Nobody bothers now. No,
It's depressing, really.
but I think.
And it's a shit deal for the artist.
Yeah. But our generation still buy, or some do, still buy the albums. And like I said, when artists of our generation do
So
an
is that your
album,
fifth album then?
I think that is. I think that's.
Oh right,
I can
I was
count.
gonna say, I thought you said you couldn't find one.
Oh no, that's in my hanging outside the top five.
Right,
I'll,
okay.
I'll go over
So
that.
do you want to guess then my top album of all time?
Your top album of all time? Let me see, because I wrote down.
So far,
these.
you've got 3 albums right and a 4th artist right, but not the right album.
Well, have I guessed it? Your top album? Did I?
Yes.
I did guess it.
Yes. You've got 4 white pegs and 1 black peg.
So I've guessed your top album, but it's not come out of the hat yet.
Yeah.
I think. Right, if I've got to pluck for it. Oh, this is difficult.
You've played a blinder, son.
Oh,
You played a blinder.
well, I guessed. Can I guess the artist?
Yeah.
First? Is it XTC?
Correct.
It's XTC. Now, I think that narrows it down hugely. I think it's Black Sea. No, yes, no, yes.
Black Sea.
Black
oh
Sea.
my God.
And
Skylarkin's possibly number 2 or possibly number 3, but
Good album.
I ignored this band like a lot of people did for
And
a
I
long
remember
time.
you slating them once. You said the singer sounded like he had toothache. I can well remember you saying that.
The singer sounds like me then,
I
doesn't
messaged
it?
you one. I was listening
Really?
to. I was listening
How
to.
long ago was this?
Oh, 4 or 5 years ago. I was listening.
Very ignorant and
I think
dismissive.
before we even
I am.
started playing music, I said I'm
Was.
listening to this King for a Day. This track, King for a Day, is not on that album, is it? But I loved it, King for a Day. And you said never liked XTC. He
That
sounded
was off
like
Oranges and Lemons.
he sounded like he got toothache. Or so you said words to that effect.
But he sings Senses Working Overtime in that kind of
yeah,
way.
very
excellent
Wiltshire
track.
accent.
Off English Settlement, which is another
Great
song.
band.
Excellent. This is an amazing album. This is the Blu-ray version, which is unbelievable value for money. You've got the standard album.
And again, a good sign of a great album. The CD's not there.
Yeah, and I'm
Now he's worried.
oh no, the Blu-ray one's probably in the Blu-ray
right.
player. That's why. Then you've got the Blu-ray one. Andy Partridge is very thorough, and on the Blu-ray one, you've got. I don't know whether you can see it, but all of those tracks. It's absolutely incredible.
Good album.
The album again remixed in 5.1 and surround, and some live outtake demos and some B tracks. I mean, that cost me about 20 quid. It's just amazing value for money. I actually bought a Blu-ray player so I could listen to it. But this album is amazing, and it's got. I'll take you through the track listing actually. Again, their first 2 albums were with their keyboard player who was a bit domineering and it was very keyboard orientated. I forget the guy's name, but he left the band. Instead of replacing him with a keyboardist, they got a guitarist, Dave Gregory, that could also play keyboard if needed. And they released Drums and Wise, which, Making Plans for Nigel, came off. Most people's XTC favourite
I was
song.
thinking of that one.
I
As a
don't
possibility.
I don't like it. I never
No.
choose to play it.
No.
But Black Sea is just an amazing album. I love Respectable Street, where he's talking about the upper classes. Generals and Majors, a Colin Moulding song, is just brilliant. Living Through Another Cuba's got a bit of a Latin beat. Love at First Sight, excellent song.
Yeah,
love
I
the
like
bass line on
yeah,
that.
I like that.
And a lot of people were saying that that's the weak track on the album. I think that's one of the
It
best.
is, yeah, I like that. But that's
Uh,
everyone has different opinions.
Rocket
don't
from
they?
a Bottle's excellent. No Language in the Lungs. I do like that, but I have to be in the right mood for it. But then Towers of London,
Yeah.
what a great
Yeah.
song that is. That's about number 30 in the charts. Criminal.
Yeah.
Absolutely criminal.
And a lot of people credit that band for being a big inspiration of
Yeah.
Britpop.
Well, they say the original Britpop band. I agree with it. Damon Albarn loved them.
Yeah.
Paper and Iron
there's
is
a link.
excellent. That's about working
I
for the
think
man.
there the link from the Kinks to Britpop,
Yeah.
the link between the two.
Yeah. Burning with Optimism Flames is an excellent track. Sergeant Rock, very clever lyrical song.
Yeah.
Just a brilliant track. And then Troubles in Ireland's a bit strange, but that's tracked out. But that is just 11.5 amazing
Good
tracks. And, you know, I think Andy Partridge said, you know, the reason why they were successful as a band, even though they weren't commercially successful because they stopped touring, was he had a good hand on lyrics. And Colin Moulding was very good melodically. Colin Moulding's lyrics are quite weak. All due respect to him, I know that's sacrilege, but compared to Andy Partridge, is lyrically they don't compare. But Colin Moulding's a lot more melodic. I think they're amazing, and you know, this replaced St Julian's, my all-time favourite album. I think they're an amazing band. They were very underrated, criminally underrated. And
I think
the amount of people that say that they were
that
they were inspired by them, but certainly I can't say enough about this album. It's amazing, and I haven't heard Towers London for months. That's definitely getting played tonight. Great album. What can I say? Well, I'm going to do honourable mentions then.
Yeah.
I've only got one honourable mention. Do you want to do yours
so
first?
I do mine. So I'll do them fairly quickly because there's one or two of them. Right. I'll go through these quite quickly. Okay. Debut album by a band. These Stone Roses.
Oh yeah.
Not your thing really, were they? But I think, yeah, great band. Live, I don't.
A lot of people's favourite band. They came around. Well, no, they were
1998. Well,
yeah, they were late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah.
So they were one of the original Britpoppers, I suppose.
Yeah, they
weren't
inspired again a big inspiration for Britpop. Apparently,
well, they came out the Manchester scene.
yeah, because apparently Liam, one of the Gallaghers, he said he's bought this album 4 times over
Why?
the years because he kept buying it, leaving it at parties and what have you back in the day.
Oh, right.
So he'd end up
Well,
buying
he can afford it,
well, he
can't
can
he?
afford it. Yeah, it wasn't really a problem for him, but he said
Liam Gallagher.
One of the, I think it was, I can't remember which one. One of the Gallaghers. He said he owned up to buying it 4 times for that reason because he'd be buying it, lend it. You know what I mean? Like you did.
No
back in the
Smiths
day.
albums on there. I'm
There is
surprised.
no Smiths
No
albums.
Cure albums.
No Cure albums in my honourable mention. So the Stone Roses, great track. I Want to Be Adored. I strum it myself and sing it.
Is she bangs the drums on that?
It
album?
is. She Waterfall.
Waterfall.
She's
I
a
like.
waterfall. Yeah.
And she bangs
Made
the
of stone.
drums.
Yeah. Shoot you down. This is the I Am the Resurrection. That's the one.
Oh yeah.
It's a bit long that one.
No, but I
That
can
one.
see why now. There's some good tracks.
There's
on
that's
there. There's some good tracks on.
So that's my honourable mention. Now this one, this is a bit of an odd one. Impurity, New Model Army. I was a New
Ooh.
Model Army nut in the late 80s.
I liked Ghost of Cain. It was an excellent. And again,
That's
that's
not
most
one of my
people.
honourable mentions, but
That's most people's. That's their album. It's got 51st State on it, hasn't it?
It was close. I mean, I used to be a New Model Army.
In the name of
nut,
the people.
Yeah.
Lights go out.
Yeah.
It's-
Yeah.
I like Lights Go Out. I like the working class vibe from
They
that.
were very political,
Yeah.
and I've drifted away from them in the 90s, and I've never listened to a lot of their recent stuff. But
Not many dentists in
because
there
apart,
where they live, were there?
no, they weren't the most. They were known as the most ugliest band in rock. But I noticed I was a
Were
bit
they?
depressed. Yeah, well, there was an appearance on the Tube, and they
I
were
mean, why
introduced as the most
critique them on
ugliest band.
physical features?
I think it was a joke.
Pathetic.
But the thing was, I saw an interview with him not so long ago, and he says he was a bit. He kind of lost the interest in the old stuff, and he didn't like the fans that only like their old stuff. So it was a bit sad, but I did see him a few years ago, about 3 years ago in Manchester with Steve, and
Well,
they didn't do any of their old stuff. But
Make
it's their
it
prerogative.
personal. I mean, we've just, okay, we're not famous or anything like that, but I think it's the same sort of thing. people haven't heard us play our album like
No.
yet. A lot of people haven't heard this album. Most of these songs are really old to us now.
Yeah, yeah.
I
yeah.
spent a lot of Saturday and all day Sunday practicing, getting ready for art, and I couldn't help but a lot of time play songs which I'm hoping are going to be on the next album.
Yeah,
I kept
yeah,
having to
that'd
say,
interest.
"You're wasting time. Get back on WGM tracks. Come on." But also, a lot of these songs are ones that I had more hand
Yeah.
in writing, whereas World's Gone Mad's heavily with you, because you know it represents the first 2 years of the songwriting. Well, I think we started writing songs in June 2019, and we sort of finished in June 2020.
Yeah.
Right, where we said, right, stop now, let's do the album, and
Yeah.
when, so there was, and we wanted that to be a fair spread of our first 2 years of songwriting. The majority were your songs, but yeah, so I can see where he's coming from in terms of just the old stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, because it's like the cycle. By the time you're touring that album, it's old hat to
Yeah,
you.
I think,
And you probably even started writing.
but I
the
think,
next album.
I think with all bands that are doing this, you know, properly touring and I think you get to a point where you will get sick to death playing and singing the same thing all the time. You got to remember they're doing it every other night for years, and it gets you will get fed up with it.
I mean, I thought
To
when
us
we
it's
first started, I
exciting, we're
thought, are
not,
we
you
ever
know.
going to be able to write songs? Because to me, it was
Yeah.
just like alchemy.
Yeah.
And but we've got loads of
Yeah.
songs, haven't we?
Yeah.
Absolutely, and we will forget, don't we? Say, we go through your lyric sheet, your music
Yeah,
sheet. And you go,
yeah.
what about that one? You go, oh my
Yeah,
god!
Yeah, yeah. We got this.
And it wasn't easy picking the songs.
Should
for our
I
first
should
album.
I do another honourable mention?
Of course,
You say
yes.
you had one.
Yeah, no, go on,
I did.
finish yours.
Well,
man,
again,
just
this
I've only
is
got one.
this one sound effects.
Ooh,
The
I
Jam,
don't know
the
that.
Jam.
Ah,
Because
I've never
I've got to
heard
put
that.
it on. Maybe not so much because it's got my favourite song on it, or one of my favourite songs of all time. That's Entertainment. I
A lot of people like that, don't they?
Yeah, yeah. Good, great album. That good to have a listen. Oh, there's all Jam out. To be fair, all Jam albums I think are. I can't, you know. Could have picked.
We had a
other-
go at recording
there was-
tonight at noon, only because
Yeah.
again I heard it on the radio. I've never heard that song. Have you?
No, I didn't.
I
Really know
love
I got
that
the album.
song.
Yeah, it's. But
You got the album that it's on, and you didn't
yeah,
know it.
yeah. No, I bought it later on. I think I probably had it years ago. There was going to be another Jam album in the honourable mentions, which was Setting Suns, and that's funny enough. Not a bit like my U2 choice. It's not one of the album that Jam fans really go
You
for.
didn't select Acton Baby, did you?
No.
Wow.
But I like Acton Road, but
I
it
know you
didn't
do. Yeah, I
quite
know.
get into
yeah,
the.
okay.
But
But I
Setting
mean, again,
Suns
there
is
is
a Jam
one
album
artist,
worth
right?
looking
I
at.
mean, got the Style Council. He went really
Yeah.
off piece, didn't he?
But he wanted to change. He was bored.
Well,
of
yes,
punk
fair
and
enough. But I
guitar,
mean,
and he
I
wanted
could
to
walk
do
down the
something
street with a sideboard on my head and be different.
Yeah.
But that'd be a change.
the
But would
thing-
it be good?
Well, the thing with Weller was, and I
I
was,
mean, a lot of people said that. I mean, Tears Fears, they mention it in Sowing the Seed to Love. Did you know that?
no,
Kick out the style, bring back the jam.
really,
Yeah.
no. Well, but I think
Politician
again,
granny with your high
the thing with-
ideals,
the
have you
thing
no
with Paul
idea how
Weller
majority
is-
feels.
and I defend him in that respect. He loves soul music and that kind of stuff, and I think, like you say, he was probably playing the Jam, being the Jam day in day out for how many years? You got sick of it, and you want to do a change.
You know, he'd conceived the jam when he was about 10 or 11 years old.
Did it?
Yeah. There was an exhibition 2 or 3
Yeah,
years
there
ago, and he was
I
interviewed.
remember that, yeah.
And he had some pictures as a kid,
yeah.
and he had the jam
yeah.
already with them on stage and with the clothes that they were wearing, the drain pipe trousers, the suits, and everything.
One of the best bands we've ever had.
So I mean, he conceived that.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, I can't fault him.
Um,
But I do understand
I
why
think he
did the
dipped out
style
too
count.
soon. How many albums did he do? 2 or 3?
No, about four.
Four? Dipped out
but
too soon. But the
yeah,
style
they had
Council,
issues though. Didn't they? I think they fell
bollocks,
out a bit.
weren't
And
in my opinion, they were bollocks.
he wanted
He's
to
gone
take it
back
in a different
more to what the jam were.
Yeah,
after
when he was
that.
solo.
I mean,
yeah.
the guy that he joined with, I mean, who that?
Mick Tolbert.
Yeah, what was he from?
Not sure. Jam
The local pet
experts.
shop?
Jam experts will tell you that, but sorry, Starcast experts tell you. But the Jam, for me, like I say, one of the best bands we've ever produced, and his solo stuff as well. And you know, I think his solo stuff's up there as well. Not many people could have done that. You know what I mean? I've been in two, bands, and but
Yeah.
anyway, another honourable mention. I'm stuck on the same artist here. I shouldn't have done.
No,
Is that
that's
one?
fine if you like
A
it.
Mannix album, Gold Against the Soul.
Oh no,
It's
so
the
that
second
wasn't
one.
one of the three, was it?
Yeah, and it's an album Mannix fans don't seem to really go on about or
Yeah. I mean,
dream up.
I only got, I got
Generation
two,
Two.
didn't I?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
Unforgettable. I only got
But-
two. You got all of mine apart from You got the wrong album.
yeah.
So that even means you know me really well, or I'm just incredibly
Well,
narrow in
but-
my.
well, no, yeah, it's real. The thing about this is, you could, if I'd have been asked in a month's time to make these choices,
I did think
you'd
about
pick different ones or
the
some
hurting,
different
as you
ones.
said, Tears for Fears.
You
But
do.
if I'd have been younger, there was a lot of emotional rubbish. And
Do you know another odd
it's
thing?
just too old.
Do you
for
know
it
another
now.
odd thing that's not about both of us? There's no Bowie or Stones albums.
No, but I mean, again, I don't know a lot of Stones
No,
album
you only know
tracks
the hits, don't
or
you? You hear
Bowie
the hits. Yeah,
tracks.
I was thinking this. I've never sat down
Steel
and listened
Wheels
to his
was
album.
certainly the best album they'd done for 20 or 30
Yeah,
years.
yeah.
After Exile on Main Street,
Yeah,
we saw the Steel Wheels tour,
yeah.
Mixed
That's a good
Emotions
album.
and Rock and a Hard Place.
Yeah.
It was a very good album.
But you don't. It's like with the Beatles. I've never really sat and listened
I mean,
to a
they've come out
Beatles
with some.
album. I love the hits and all the songs that people like, and I probably I think it was the White Album I ended up
And it's
listening
like the
to,
Stranglers, none of
in
their
a
albums.
you know, on a drive.
Raven's a
wasn't
good
it?
album.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
but
There's a lot of bands like that, isn't there? You never sit and really listen to their albums, but that's another one. Got a great track, La Triesta, Di Resta, Scream to a Sigh. That's a great track, really good track. That's an album that was a bit overlooked by Mannix fans, but I think is among the best.
is that their second album?
Second album, yeah, really good album, Gold Against Soul. And then the last one, the honourable mentions at the moment, is this another New Model Army one, Thunder and Consolation from
Right, and it's
1989.
still not
I
Ghost
love
of
the world.
Cain.
No, Stupid Questions, 225 the tracks.
I found a dentist.
Yeah, yeah, and had my a facelift. But that's a great album as well. It's got some really good tracks on it. Yeah, it's a good one. Anyway, did you say you had an honourable mention?
Yes.
Did I guess it?
I bought it today from Amazon so I could
Oh,
go.
blimey! Was it
Here
released
it
today?
is. No, it was released on in the year we were born.
The year we were born. Hang on, let me guess this. Then.
Yeah.
So it's released in 1968. Released in '68. Who the earth would that be? So he said it's not a Bowie or Stone. No, it wouldn't be a Bowie album, really, would it? But it could be because he
And
did
again,
do an
it's
album.
an album that's not considered their
Beatles.
best. There's
Beatles?
one album which is considered their
It's
best.
a Beatles album,
No.
not a Beatles. Okay,
No.
Kinks album.
No, I don't know them well enough.
The Who?
Whether they are good. No.
It's released in '68. It's a band. Oh yeah.
Well, yes, it is a band.
U-
There's two of them.
Oh, I know it is. I know it is. Jedward. No. Sorry. No, I think it's Art Garfunkel and Paul Simon.
Correct. Or Simon and Garfunkel.
Or
as
Simon
they're
and Garfunkel,
chosen.
as they were more
But what album
logically
is it
known.
though?
Oh, now, is it? What's the soundtrack? Mrs. Robinson and Co.
Correct.
What's the fucking sound? The Graduate.
That's the film,
Oh,
and the tracks were taken from this album.
Oh.
But it's not. The actual-
is
they
it
mu-
Hazy Shade of Winter?
That's no, but that's on the
It's
album.
on the album as well.
I think they did do a Graduate album, but
The one we used to play, Slow Down, You Move
That's
Too
not on
Fast.
there, no.
Not on there.
I'll put you out in misery.
Oh, yeah.
Bookends.
Oh, yes. Yes, you used to have that. I remember you had the vinyl on
Yes,
it. Yeah.
I had the vinyl.
Which will be worth some money now.
I'm just looking at this now because this has actually got extra tracks on it.
It's not got our cover version on there, has it?
No, it's not. But I mean, Mrs. Robinson, Sound of Silence was on that album as well, I think, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
Hello
But
Darkness,
it was on the
yeah.
film, but it's not on this album.
Is it not? Oh, that's interesting.
But Hazy Shade of Winter's been covered no end of times.
Fine.
It's got At
Yeah.
the Zoo in it. That's another great track. What I liked was I think in this album they did transition from folk to pop,
Yeah. Probably, yeah.
and pop as I see the acceptable side of pop, in my opinion. But they're messed about with. It's quite Spike Save the Life of My Child. It's the second track on. It's the first track really, because the first one's just a few bars of
Yeah.
acoustic. But this is a concept album. It's about the life cycle, and if you go into the songs, it is
So it's
about
not-
birth, save the life of my child, bookends, old friends.
Right.
It was. They said
About
it was.
being born,
It was
growing up.
April
growing old and
1968. It was released.
Yeah.
But and it's got my favourite Simon and Garfunkel track, which is called "Faking It."
You have to play it sometime.
Yeah, have you heard "Faking
No,
It"? It's
no,
an
I've not heard
excellent
that.
track.
No, I've listened
It's
to that.
acoustically based. It just
It all
twists
was,
the
yeah,
bass. It's
yeah.
the acoustic. It but it's just an. I just think it's a great album, and for the time, and they stepped out of the genre that they were doing. I like Paul Simon's lyrics. I think observationally they really got it right time. You can learn a lot about American culture in
Yeah.
their songs. And
Now, funny enough, I was looking at my albums today, going through, and I nearly picked an album kind of related is the wrong word, but there's a link to that album that I nearly picked an album. There was a link.
what's the
A
link?
more modern, the link is it's kind of, the link is it's them, but not, if that makes sense. And it was 20 years later.
What, the live
No,
thingy?
no, Gracelands.
Paul Simon.
Yeah.
I
I nearly picked that.
Well, he
'cause
took a lot of heat for that, didn't
way
he?
away from
Because he
what I
was
all
playing
about.
with
It's
South
some-
African musicians during the
Yeah.
boycott, wasn't
Yeah,
he?
but he
But he
wasn't
was playing with black
supporting it.
musicians.
He wasn't supporting the apartheid.
No.
He was going against
But I mean, it's like Thatcher, whether you like her or hate her. She did partake in sanctions, but she didn't support them. Not because she didn't support the removal of apartheid, but because she didn't think economic sanctions worked.
No,
And they
no.
didn't ultimately.
No.
It was a social and political upheaval that did it in the end.
But
They were sanctioned for years.
But
The thing is, sanctions just hurt the poor people in
yeah,
that country.
yeah.
But he took a lot of heat for that. But that is a good album. But you could call me out on that.
Yeah, but I don't know.
But I
just
like
think
the
it's a really
African
I think it won
influence.
awards out of that.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so
So that's my honourable mention. So okay, let's bring this to an end because I think
Yeah.
we've been going for about 45 minutes, which I think is about the right. Yeah,
Yeah.
50 minutes. This is followed hot on the heels by another video that we are doing straight after this, which is Dave's 5 top guitarists. As a guitarist, my top 5 bassists.
unfortunately though, we haven't got the actual guitarist to come into the room and
No,
interview.
and
you know, they weren't available.
Again, we're going to try and guess each other's.
Yeah.
I'm hoping I've got more of a chance of winning because he got me down to a T on that. But and just also want to mention that we're playing live at the Hind on April the 16th. Be our first gig proper. Looking forward to that. Some other potential dates that we're hopefully announcing soon. So if you're local and you can get along to that, we'd really appreciate your support. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe because I know a lot more people have viewed our videos than have subscribed. Please subscribe because it really helps us. If you could, we'd really
Listen to our
appreciate
music.
it.
It's worth a listen.
And obviously our album World's Gone Mad, which is now available. Download to stream. We've got the CD version available. Just contact us on social media if you want that. We're releasing a 3-track EP, which will only be available during the little mini tour we're doing. That's really good. I really like the 3 tracks on there and what we've done with that. So so we'll see you soon. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you later. Cheers.
Bye guys.